All right, guys, welcome back. We are watching Owarimonogatari Season 2, Episode 5. This episode, this arc, is called Ougi Dark, which I just can't help but think that is the most, man, that's got to be the most intriguing arc title we've ever had, huh? Like, that is, yeah, man. Last time we finished up Hitagi Rendezvous, which was a very nice, a very sweet arc. Shinjagahara is the best, right? Like who possibly couldn't think that? Just went on a date with her. It was very sweet, very nice, kind of bittersweet in a sense because the last scene with Ogi and all of that. It's like it reminds you what Aragi has to lose in a way now as well, which I think is something that's important for him too. And I don't know. Ogi's asking Aragi to save her. I kind of want him to, but like not. But yeah, we've talked about it. We've talked about it a lot about what I mean by that exactly. I I don't know. I need to see how this will be resolved. I guess that's all I can really say at this point. We've talked about what I want to happen with Ogi many times and where this could possibly be going. I just got to see it. I just got to see what we're doing. Again, it feels like this should be the end of the show, doesn't it? Like whatever everything that's going on right now. I mean, I've said this like 50 times. It just makes me think back to the line from Aragi near the start of Ski Monogatari when he's like, "Oh, this is the beginning and the end of Aragi Kiyomi," and that's like, I mean, that's what this feels like. It feels like we're there now, right? I know we still have like a lot of episodes left of the show, so we're not even close to the end. It feels like we should be at the end right now. But I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's like it's graduation day, right? Or it's like tomorrow is at least, right? So it's like, oh, it's God. A whole lot of things are reaching the end. Man, I don't know. We gotta get started. So we're watching Ogi Dark Part One. You can line and copy up with this if you want to. We are starting in three, two, one. Ooh, beautiful. I love the shots of the sun. Oh, right. The place where everything started, in a sense. Yeah. Oh, like what Ogi said. Very true. Hmm. Oh, the desk. Hmm. Oh, yeah. The way which we have seen it. It doesn't feel like that to us exactly. Oh. You would know, wouldn't you? Perfectly. Oh, like inside his head? Gone. Ah, I'm sure you did. The traffic lights, they're gonna drive me insane. Oh god. It turned red. What does that mean? So, an Ogi opening. Oh, we already had one, I guess, an Ogi formula, but still. The mirrors, right, right, makes sense. She's like a complete silhouette, even with the light on her. Oh, hmm. I'll read the lyrics next time. Oh, I think I like this opening a lot. Light. Light and darkness. We're very much like contrasting those things. Which is which? Dark cherry mystery, huh? It's got look at her back there, like with the bike, of course. The bike kind of being a symbol of Aragi's adolescence as well, right? Ooh, like facing yourself. Oh, in the mirror. Oh no, I think I really like that opening, actually. Hmm. Like the it's like computer theming we're doing with the chapter cards is interesting. The park. What's up? Oh god. What are we doing? God, the sword is so long. We're playing baseball. I did not catch any of that at all. Not even close. That we're playing with yeah, with the sword. Can heart span be used as a bat? He just starts walking away. Just doesn't want anything to do with this. It's yes, you can. Oh, I guess. Be careful with that ridiculous sword, please. That's right. There we go. Deserved. Getting a taste of his own medicine, for real. Yeah, right? Huh. What, you're trying to... Yeah, you're trying to take it out on her now? Huh? Someone explain that one to me, please. It's so good to have her back. Oh my god. That was a good one. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Live Yatsugi reaction right there. She is. She just can't show it. What are we doing? Like, uh-huh. It's got that face. It's what does that like mean? Like what? Like sure. Oh, okay. Trying to see because she got revived, right, from hell. But yeah, I guess that makes sense. I didn't even think about that. Have you? Guyan did say like it was a good choice, right? She can work with it somehow. Oh, I love this track. It's oh no. Ononoki's fears were validated. It's, right. God. hmm That's exactly. God. Oh. So this is it. This is our battalion, huh? It's yeah, right? These are our fighters. I mean, hey, there's some pretty cool titles for them, frankly. Should have said the leader who knows everything or something. Come on. Please do. It. What is it? Oh, is it the like the talisman? Yeah, it's kinda. She just crushes it into her pocket. Right, right. That is the enemy. Well, kinda. She's kinda the enemy, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I view it the same way exactly. Right? God, him just in her lap, like, right, right. That's not, you know, she's not actually Oshino's niece. Yeah. Unknown, huh? So Gainizuko doesn't know? Or the loss of her identity. Okay. Well, for thematic reasons, she has to. It's the end of high school, right? Come on. Imply it's not really her. Okay. Yeah, I mean, from the conversation last episode, right? She has to do it. Oh, what was his answer? Ah, okay, sure, sounds good. Right. God, we really gotta go all the way back then. Okay, all right, I'm ready. Shinobu in the lake, right? Yeah. Okay. Just destroyed the lake completely. Like, right, right. There's the shrine in the middle. Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Right. There's the drought. Yeah, yeah. And I assume they like didn't use the water in the lake because it was like sacred, right? Right, right. The weird thing with the darkness too, how it like killed everyone who like knew about her, right? That is how it works in this universe. Kind of in ours too, in a sense. Oh, they merged, huh? Okay. A river? The snake? Yeah, makes sense. Okay, okay. Mm-hmm. And they tried to merge them, and oh yeah, that shot. Oh, that makes so much sense. The two snakes. Yeah. Ah, right. Okay. So it was created through like the contradictions between the merger. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Okay. Yeah. They just don't care. They just aren't listening. Right, right. And then that's when all the oddity stuff started going down, right? Yeah, makes sense. Because she was kind of fit for it from before, right? Yeah, no, he would never use it on her, right? No way. Ooh, what do you mean by that exactly? I s- I would like to think that we are. Ah, It's true, but come on. Don't just blame Aragi for that. Nadeko is very conniving. Hmm. Yeah, right? Just for both of them, of course. But how do we even do something about that? Yeah. Well, I mean, we're split now. I don't think he wants that, right? And she's big and scary, I guess. Yeah, so much, right? Hanakawa out looking for them, all that stuff. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. It's yeah, I was gonna say, he's himself was not mentioned in any of that, right? Okay. That being a condition would have been a problem, huh? I'm sure she wants something similar to Aragi, right? Sure, but come on, that's a cop out. Surely there's something you want. Oh, seeing her like this, it must be such a, I don't know. Must remind him of Kizu. Ooh, that's right. Makes sense. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Hit me. I'm ready. And simultaneously, I get there's one solution for all of those, I guess. Okay, we still have to do that, I guess. Oh, the extermination. I don't like that. I just really don't like that. Yeah. Oh, really? Huh? Really? Shit, Haji Kuji? You know what? That kind of makes complete sense, actually. A successor to a god. Wait, no. I think that actually makes, like, complete sense. Like, because of the way that I've, like, viewed the shrine and stuff. Like, for Aragi. No, I think that's, like, perfect, actually. Sure. She's like Jesus. She resurrected. Perfect. Ah, really? True. Right, which would be the worst. I think her becoming a god, like, makes so much sense, like, thematically and everything. So, like, yeah. Oh, yeah. She'll be, like, real. You know, she won't be a ghost of a ghost anymore. Well, yeah, she'll be the one in charge, you know? True. Would that not cause, like, conflict? Yeah. Hmm, really? Oh, it's like the weird, like, snail snake thing, right, okay. Is that yeah. And the frog, right. Oh yeah, it's a slug, not a snail, but Namekuji, right? We've talked about that. Yeah. Oh, and that. Yeah, Kaiki used the slug. Right. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's so great to have her back. And she'll be here. Like, we did it. Like, we won. Oh, yeah. No, and it, like, it's exactly. Right. I guess. I mean, that's, come on. That's good enough. Kami Mashita. Right. No, of course. It's been there the whole time. How didn't I see it? Like, mm-hmm. Right. It's come on, it's fine. She'll figure it out on the job. There's not a chance. No way. Exactly. But that's okay. Ah, right. And that's good enough. Ah, okay, okay. Right, right. Which, like, no, clearly. Well, I mean, on it, frankly, I don't know. Ogi would want that. Ooh. Oh, right. I don't think anyone I don't think anyone thought that other than him. Ononoki. Oh, thank you. Right. It was her, of course. Like she was talking like Ski Monogatari. Right, right. I mean, good question. I It makes sense though, with the just the way she seemed throughout the story, like through Aragi's eyes. Hmm. Okay. It just kind of happens, right? Yeah. Which that is an important feeling to have because of what she really is, right? Oh, yeah. But it's like your version of that. Mhm. Imposes them on herself, yeah. Hmm. That's a good way to phrase it. Which is much scarier, probably, than Ogi, huh? I'm sure Ogi would then target her still, right? Yeah, it wouldn't change her, right. Which actually kind of makes Ogi more dangerous, right? Because it's like it's not, yeah. She's like unpredictable. She's an unknown, as Guyan said. Yeah, we've gotta exterminate Hoshino Ogi. The story doesn't come to a close. It's so well, yeah. Oh God, Aragi, buddy, come on, Bakemono. That's the end of the episode. Oh my God. Okay, it's an ordinary monster, Bakemono. It just all comes full circle, huh? Like, oh man, ah, God. That episode felt like it was 5 minutes long. Like, I don't know. God. Lots of stuff to think about. Oh, it's these two now. It was Senjugahara before, and then Hachikuji before that, right? In the ending. I think the lyrics very much fit like Araragi and Shinobu in their relationship too, of course. I mean it fits so many characters, but I think the three that it's been used for, like Shinobu, Senjugahara, and Hachikuji, it fits all of them like perfectly. Interesting, like Ougi being in the way there, like yeah, huh. Ah, I love this ending. I love the lyrics. They're so. And this is what I mean when I say this feels like the end of the show. It's like it's man. Oh God. Okay. I miss the Fire Sisters. How many times have I said that? It's just I could really go for a Fire Sisters preview right now. I could go for them rambling about salt concentrations or whatever. Okay, we'll talk about the episode in the discussion. Okay, let's talk about the episode. I feel like there's like a ton of little things I want to talk about in this episode, but either like all spread out through the whole thing. So we're just gonna have to, I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go. Very much kind of like more of a feels like a setup episode for what's to come, right? So I'm down for that because, like I keep saying, this feels like the end. I won't keep like harping on this forever. I guess it's just like I don't know how we're gonna keep going after all of this. What is there left? I mean, I guess there we could do a whole lot more for a lot of other characters. I just don't know for Araragi. Once all of this Ogi stuff is figured out, depending on what we do with it, I guess. I don't know what the conclusion for this will be exactly. Um I just wonder what we even do with Araragi as a character after that. I mean, obviously, I think you could do infinite stuff with any character, depending on how you take it. Like, who knows? I mean, I'd probably sit around and think of a million more things we can do with Araragi in the future if I really wanted to. It's just the Ogi stuff has been the, like, core parts of the story for a long time, right? She didn't take, like, the front seat in the story for a long time. She was just kind of always, this ominous figure lurking in the background for a lot of the show, but man, we're there. Obviously, what she represents for Aragi is like this core character conflict that he has had since the beginning of the show, right? Like since basically since episode 1, because even by that point we're already post Kizu, and I think a lot of the feelings he's having in Bake are things that are very much related to this internal conflict that Ogi represents. So, man, I am just so excited to see where we are gonna go with all of that. Like, yeah. I guess my favorite thing this episode does is tells us all the stuff about it's the Hajikuji. Hajikuji's gonna be the god. Which makes complete sense, like thematically and everything. It makes like perfect. Like this is perfect, right? We've talked about how the shrine and all of that, it being an air spot. When Kaiki talked about like the whole like oh when there's a void, that's when you should be like worried or whatever, right? The air spot itself being like this void and everything. In my mind, for Aragi, it's like him changing as a person throughout the story, and the conflict, the void that is created within him because of that, right? How the further and further away he gets from who he was before, there is like this void in between what he was before and who he is now that I think he like looks back on. There's a lot of like Ogi stuff involved with that. And to me, the air spot on the shrine has always kind of like represented that. Like it's felt like in a way it's like Aragi's head, right? How the whole town has been falling into disrepair and everything, and these oddities have been running about and all that stuff. Because of there being no god on the shrine. The same way for Aragi, him feeling like he's like lost now, perhaps, right? Or like he doesn't have like he doesn't have the same things he can cling on to anymore ever since he's been like changing as a person so much and experiencing all of this, everything he's experienced through the whole story, very much like mirrored in that way, right? So to me, whoever the god on the shrine would be, feels very important in that way because it feels like it has to say something about that. Um, now, Hachikuji, it makes a lot of sense, right? Hachikuji ending up being the god on the shrine makes a ton of sense to me because of what she's always represented for Aragi, which has always been this relationship that he has with her, where unlike every other character in the whole story, it feels like he doesn't have like these deep running insecurities about it that like make him second guess everything about his connection to this person and all of that, right? He's yeah, the thing with Hachikuji when she ended up having to go to hell, right, and move on because of the darkness targeting her. It's like that conflict of him thinking that his relationship with Hachikuji, not having like some kind of problem with it, that he could like hold on to himself, when that's like the universe itself told him that it was somehow fundamentally wrong because of the darkness, right? That like makes sense to me, like in terms of like his internal journey with that, right? But now she's back. She's gonna be the god on the shrine, which makes sense to me. It's like such a strong rejection of the darkness coming to destroy her. Because if Aragi, Aragi's tried to invent reasons for why his relationship with Hajikuchi must be wrong. Like that's what like Kabuki was all about. He made up a crazy reason. He was like, "Oh, actually, my relationship with Hajikuchi has been wrong the whole time because clearly she must want to not exist, right?" And he ran off and did a bunch of crazy shit without even talking to her first, right? He wanted to invent some reason for why their relationship must be fundamentally wrong. And that was like proven wrong, right? And that was, and then the darkness showed up to do it, and all of that, and that I think internally in Aragi's head, seeing the darkness targeting Hajikuji like that is a lot of what went into Ogi's creation and everything, right? So her becoming the god, which is a way to like say fuck you to the darkness, right? Which I think is important because there's no reason like the rules of the darkness are not some kind of absolute thing. It's not like it's just and right or anything. I think Hajikuji being destroyed by it is like unfair, right? There's no reason to view it just because the darkness is this all-powerful representation of the rules or whatever. That doesn't mean it's like you don't have to view it the way Aragi viewed like his system of right and wrong and everything, as if it's like this objectively correct thing that you must follow. Like, no, we're working around it. We're making Hajikuji into a god to avoid the darkness. I think that's like perfect, right? If that's what Aragi needs to do, and that's what he's been doing with his system of rules and everything throughout a lot of the story, right? And then on top of that, her becoming the god on the shrine because of the relationship she has with Aragi, and it being kind of this like pure thing in a way, at least in his head, right? Unlike every other character in the story, like the insecurities and stuff that it's so easy for him to like get caught up on with the relationship he has with every other character in the story. So Hajikuji kind of being a representation of like Aragi being wrong in that way. That's like perfect, right? For her to be the god, right? In that sense, it's like it's yeah, right. It's just great. It's just great. I love it. There's also other stuff about like her, in a sense. So okay, there's the whole thing, like what he says about like adolescence and everything in this episode, right? Ogi and Ogi targeting him now, and all of this stuff happening in his last year of high school. It's very important because for Araragi, the idea of becoming an adult is this very like meaningful thing, right? It is this hard line transition from one point in your life to the next, and the main conflict essentially of all of Monogatari has been Aragi not like being ready for that, right? All the things in Kiyomi Monogatari, all the chapter ones that we read, which like why the hell were those not in the anime, huh? Um, all of those are like so related to that, right? His worry of the path that he'll take in life, just all of that stuff, right? Hajikuji with him, he acts with her in this crazy like childish way in a sense, right? It's very different than he does with any other character in the story, right? His behavior with Hajikuji is this crazy behavior that is never he never shows anywhere else, right? It's this very special thing with her that you can very much relate to, in my mind, to that idea of like childishness and all of that stuff. That Aragi, I think, fears he must lose as he continues to grow up and become an adult and everything. So her being also partially like a representation of that in a sense for Aragi. becoming the god on the shrine, like that too makes sense because it's like she's been enshrined there. You know, it's something that you don't have to lose, right? From my perspective, I guess to like look at it more broadly, it's like the idea that whoever you used to be, like as you grow up or just as you change as a person and all of that, it's not like you're throwing that away just as you change or as you know, you become an adult, as you grow up. You will change as you know, as time passes on, right? But everything that you wore before doesn't just get, you know, thrown in the trash or whatever. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to think of it in that way that I think Aragi always has, right? That's where so much of his fear of change comes from because of his whole idea about humanity and stuff back in Kizu, thinking that who he is now is his real self, and change would be like a betrayal of that, right? Like, no, I think Hajikuji being on the shrine is just representative of that idea, right? That like, no, you don't have to lose that, right? Who says you have to lose it, right? The darkness, we're cheating the darkness too. It's like, come on, right? No, I just love that. It's great. Hajikuji's the goat. I love having her back so much. Like, oh god, it's been so long too since we've had her. Like we saw her in one of the Kiyomi Monogatari episodes, so I guess like the Hachikuji droughts weren't actually that long because you know her disappearance at the end of what was that Shinobu time, right? It's not like that was that long before that Kiyomi Monogatari episode, so we never actually had like a super long stretch of no Hachikuji, but it was just the idea of there being no Hachikuji that made it very sad, right? Like, yeah, yeah. So I'm so glad she's back, and she gets to stay forever because she's gonna be the god. So it's fantastic, fantastic, huh? Man, and the end of the episode, it's this. I don't even know what to make of it exactly, but it's just Guy Nizuko saying she's an ordinary monster, Bakemono. Man, it just feels like there has to be so much to that line, but it's just like what do you even say about it exactly? Like we're just bringing back up that theme in a sense from all the way back in Keezer, right? The whole human monster like thing, right? It's interesting because you could think of Oshino Ogi as, in a sense, for Araki, like representing like an old part of him. Like I guess if we're talking about like what we just said with Hajikuji, all the stuff about how in a sense, her becoming the god on the shrine represents this idea of not having to throw away like your old self, like childish parts of yourself, not having to lose yourself as you grow older. And you know, for Aragi, him becoming an adult is like the big thing, right? You not having to throw all of that of yourself out. It's interesting for Ogi to think about that because, in a sense, she represents like an old part of Aragi. Um, in terms of like her the whole system of rules and everything. I don't know if you would say if it's an old part of him or just some kind of like part of him that he views as like a fundamental thing that it's like and all of that, right? That feels like a shared thing because we keep talking about exterminating Ogi. We keep talking about getting rid of her. That feels contrary to the whole idea here. To the whole, it's like if we did destroy Ogi, you know, if Guy Nizuko and Aragi, and it's just whatever, right? We find out who Ogi is, and Aragi is faced with that idea that like Ogi is essentially you, right? Exterminating her feels like it would just be playing into like the whole a very bad idea here, right? It would be very contrary to everything we just talked about with Hajikuji, right? If we just exterminate her, if we just say she's a monster and all of that, that just feels so wrong, right? Like that just feels so wrong. Because that's just not how it works, right? You don't have to exterminate everything that you were before in order to change, right? I think that's a good way to view it. Um, Especially it's interesting because if you view Ogi in a sense as being like an old part of Araragi, it's just she does in a large part represent a lot of parts of himself that back in Kizu he would think of as like his humanity and everything. Well, now she's being called a monster, right? So it's like, what's the message that Araki himself could take from that? You know, which would be a bad message. Is oh, I was wrong. Actually, I was a monster before, right? And now that I've gone through all this change and everything, oh, now I'm me. Now I'm human, right? To use Aragi's language from Kizu, and I mean, I've said it before, all that's doing is kicking the can down the road. All that's doing is it's not fixing his problem. That's not fixing the actual fundamental issue for Araragi at all, right? To just write Ogi off as just some kind of monster. No, I think that's like that has to be so wrong. So it's scary because Guy Nizuko, I guess it makes sense that Guy Nizuko would have this position now that I think about it properly, because through Araragi's eyes, right, Guy Nizuko has always represents this ultimate authority, right? She is the darkness or the rules. I guess Guy Nizuko, what is her relation to that exactly? She's a specialist, so she's aware of the darkness and everything, but maybe there's not really any direct connection you can make exactly, but she's the ultimate authority figure, right? She knows everything. She's the one who's like the boss even of like Oshino Mime, who had such an impact on Araragi, and all of this stuff. And through Aragi's eyes, right, Guy Nizuko has always been portrayed in this very like ominous light, like even in this shot, right, this shadow over her face and everything. She's come across as like creepy a lot because I think that's kind of shows us how Aragi views her, which is in this very like unsure, like it's uneasy way, because of her, position as that ultimate authority and everything. In that sense, kind of like the ultimate like adult, right? Like if we're thinking about how all of this for Aragi is this fear of what it means to become an adult and leave who he is now behind. Um, so maybe in that sense, if that's kind of what she represents like for Aragi in his head, then her being on this side of it, saying that we just need to exterminate Ogi, and that's the easiest way to go about it. That like makes sense, but I just wonder where we're gonna go with that because I don't know. Will Aragi If Aragi goes against what Nizuko wants and does not exterminate Oki, I think that would be meaningful. I think that would be powerful in a way because that's also him defying uh the character that kind of embodies that concept, that idea of like being an adult and the ultimate authority figure and all of that stuff, right? That I think is part of why Aragi's always had this uneasiness around her that's like shown to us through the visuals of the show. Um, so yeah, I guess I just hope. I don't think Guy is going to change her mind. I don't think, her position on Ogi is that, yeah, she's this dangerous thing that needs to be destroyed. I don't think it's going to change. So I guess in a sense, I want Aragi to listen to Ogi in terms of like not getting taken in by her slick talk, as Ogi said, but not exactly in the same way, right? It's weird. I agree with Ogi in a sense about that. Not that I think Guy Izuku really is like bad or anything, right? Like I don't think Guy Nizuko means anything bad by this at all. I think her position is very understandable. I just think there's really I don't know, there's a give and take here. And yeah, guess that's all I can say about it, really. I'm just gonna have to see how it goes. I'm just gonna have to see how it goes. I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. Okay, let's go through the whole episode. We start this beginning like monologue from Aragi. There's a lot to think about with it. A lot of like very powerful like visual like stuff. We start with like the sunsets. Such man, Monogatari loves its like beautiful shots of the sunset or the sunrise. I always think of the one in Hana, when Kanburu is looking across like the river or whatever it is. That's like the place where like Aragi and Hanakawa met, right? Or like that area. It's like the most absurdly beautiful sunset of all time. I always think of that shot whenever I think of the sunset, but there's been so many of them in this show, right? Like the Kaiki confrontation in Nisei. God, what else? I don't even know. There's been a ton of sunsets, right? Yeah, yeah. And obviously it makes sense. What's a sunset like represent for you? I think it's pretty you think you can think of a lot of ways it relates to our current thing. Like I think the way Aragi's feeling right now, about like his upcoming graduation and everything is like, well, I don't know. What Aragi likes to do with his thoughts like that might be unpleasant to him is just like shut them down and not think about them. That's like his favorite thing to do, right? So I'm sure that's what he's really doing. But I'm sure he feels like this growing sense of just unease and fear about the upcoming graduation and what that means for him, very much like a setting sun, I guess. And I think that's why Ogi is going to make her move today, right? Yeah, he's got to resolve all of this, right? So we start off with like an amazing line, which is the present is what it is because of Oshino Ogi. We are at the staircase where he caught Senjugahara, which is in a sense the start of everything for him. There's a lot of moments that you could say are the start for Araragi, right? Obviously the Hanakawa moment in Kizu, also him saving Kiss Shot in Kizu, also him catching Senjugahara. It's even him meeting Hajikuji. There's so many moments that you could say are like the beginning for him, but the stairs here kind of feel like that, right? The stairs being like this weird spiral thing. I mean, I know this is just the thing the anime did, right? Like, it's just the weird visuals in the anime. It's not like explained or described like this in the books, sure. But I don't know, them being a spiral, right? It just makes you think, makes me kind of think like the whole like Ouroboros thing that's like in the story. Like just spiraling around, circling around like this. Um, I don't know. I don't know. It just makes me think about like a kind of like uselessly circling around without making any progress, I guess. That's what it makes me think about. You know, you are making progress because you're going up the stairs, right? I don't know. I don't know. The present is what it is because of Oshinogi. Immediately, this is a great line because it's like the present is what it is for Oshinogi because of Oshinogi. He says, like, yeah, because of that mysterious girl, an unknown wrapped in unknowns, right, came to this town. Rather all of us, made it to where we are now. I love these beginning lines because it's very true. Like if you think of Oshino for Araragi as being this representation of something that has guided him in his decisions and kind of like his old self in a sense, and a whole lot of stuff, right? It's kind of this messy idea of like this old stuff for Araragi and everything. It's very true that it's because of Oshino that's why we are where we are today, right? Because of all of those things, that is why, Ogi has kind of always been in Aragi's head, in a sense, right? She just has this very literal physical form now, but you could still think of Ogi as existing back in like Kizu, you know what I mean? Like she was kind of a guiding force for him still, if you think of her as like Aragi's rules, right? And yeah, and it's very true, right? The only reason he's here today is because all of those things happened, and that is what was like guiding him back then. Like sure, right? He does have Ogi to thank for that. You can think of it as like his old self as well, right? The thing that he shouldn't just throw away, right? That is why he's here today. That's why everyone's here today, I guess. That's why everything is the way it is. You can always thank your old self for that, I guess. Um, it's just an interesting thing for him to be pondering over, right? He's not gonna like Guy Nizuko's answer. He's not gonna want to accept what she says here of just exterminating her. Like no way, right? But as I say that, we know that Aragi, of course, has a history of suicidal thoughts and like this self-destructive like self-hatred and all of that stuff. So I guess I do wonder, like he's very self-critical. So I do wonder once he's been faced with what Ogi is, in a sense that he can't just choose to ignore anymore, what is he going to do? What is he gonna say? It feels like that's what he's thinking about. We get like these brooding shots of him in this monologue at the beginning here. Uh it's yeah, just thinking about the thoughts that must be going through his head. Hmm. Rather all of us, made it to where we are now. I mean, even this, right? Like, why is he thinking about all of this? He's attributing all of this to Ogi, right? Um, it's there's the interesting element to it of him separating Ogi from himself, right? Of course, he thinks of himself now as someone fundamentally different, a different person entirely, basically, than who he was before. The monologue at the start of Hitagi Rendezvous was very much like that. And Maoi Hell. I mean, I guess we've had one like this at the start of the last couple arcs. All three of these arcs, right? Of him just thinking back on the radical difference in his feelings now compared to what they used to be. And Ogi being a representation of that, right? So him like separating that from himself and being like, oh, it's all thanks to Ogi, because that's not who I am anymore, I guess. Um, yeah, yeah. But really, I mean, that's what he needs to recognize. I guess that's a hard thing to do, though, is to, like, what would that mean for him to recognize Ogi as being this part of himself, right? Because he has this new changed perspective on everything because of what he's gone through just throughout the whole story. All of the things that Ogi has done throughout the story and everything. It's just going to be, I don't know, how will he come to terms with that exactly, right? It just makes me think like it's almost like him coming to terms with the fact that Ogi is trying to kill him is like a big one, right? The fact that in Kizu he was suicidal as well, which I think Ogi trying to kill him is kind of another like facet of that, right? Because she is him basically. Um, how is he going to come to terms with that? You know, like what? I don't know. Because man, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We have a present and we have a future. Someday I'll be able to feel that way. Very, very telling because it goes along with like what Ogi said in the last scene of the previous episode about the stuff about this being his final date with Sindra. Him, it's all that stuff. The idea of him not having a future, right? That's what she said. It'd be nice if you did. Because that's how Aragi feels about graduation, what that means for him. He thinks his life, who he is as Aragi Kiyomi, ends tomorrow, right? It's over, right? The everything that he defines himself as, everything that means so much to him is so intimately tied to his position as a high school student, and he does not think he's ready, does not think he's able to move on to this next phase of his life. And yeah, so he doesn't feel like he has a future, right? Man, yeah. Oh, that's just who I am. That's just who she is. I that's a very that's just who I am, and that's just who she is. I mean, sure, right? That's exactly right. He's carrying these flowers throughout this monologue. I'm not sure what to make of it exactly. We get some like chair stuff. I just don't know what to think about it. It definitely means something, obviously. I'm just not sure what it symbolizes. The empty chair, the just all of that, right? I mean, it kind of makes me think about just the whole idea of him moving on from, he's in the high school as he's doing all of this, which I think is very important. The high school is so meaningful to him, of course. It's like where he caught where he caught Sindra, where so many things have happened for him, right? Where he met Ougi as well, right? So the empty chair kind of makes you think about that. It's like, this is the sunset and everything. You could think of this as being after graduation, even if you want to, like the visuals at least, right? The empty building, everyone's moved on, it's over. Yeah, yeah. I remember her as a symbol of my adolescence. That makes sense. She certainly is. She certainly is a symbol of his adolescence because of what she. It's yeah. I think that makes complete sense to me. But hmm, does Aragi want to move on from Ogi at all? You know what I mean? Like what? Because if we're saying that she's a symbol of his adolescence, he doesn't think he's ready to move on from his adolescence, right? He doesn't. He's or at least he's very much like worried about that and what that will mean for him, like who he is and everything, right? So saying that Ogi is a symbol of it is hmm, I don't know. I mean, I get what he's saying. I guess I just yeah, that smirk of hers. A very common smirk. Have you ever seen Ogi not smirking? Like I don't know. I'm sure that to her, my stupidity was highly amusing. I found myself laughing as well. This desk, huh? Um, whose desk was this exactly again? Was this Hanakawa's desk? I think it was, right? I think so. I burst into laughter. In the end, maybe this whole thing was just a comedy. My adolescence, the last year I spent as a high school student. It was painful, it was sad, it was bitter, it was ugly, and all in all, it was a year of hell. So he tells us all this stuff about how horrible and painful it's been for him. Yeah, it's March 15th, graduation day, right? Even so, when I look back on this someday, when I tell someone or everyone about this, I know I should probably tell it with a smile. So it's kind of meta in a sense because it feels like that's what we've been seeing, right? The whole context of the story has, I guess, in a sense, been Aragi telling all of this to Ogi, like kinda. That's kind of what it feels like, right? But also like what Aragi's telling like us in a sense, whoever we are, right? Um, is it's unclear exactly like who the audience is like meant to be exactly, but uh, yeah, in that case, it makes sense that Monogatari as a story has both felt so has felt very like it's funny, right? It feels like, yeah, he's been telling it with a smile, right? From his perspective, of course, everything that he's gone through has been these very personal, important things to him, and all of that. There's no, it's just been very like intense. It's mental and emotional hurdles he's gone through throughout the whole course of everything. Uh, but yeah, it's like from he chose to tell it to us in a way that maybe hid some of that. It feels like that was kind of at its peak in Bake, doesn't it? Like at the near the beginning, where it just feels like in order to pick up on a lot of stuff about Araragi, you really had to cut through some bullshit that he was giving us. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, yeah. Like it was a simple, happy story that makes everyone who hears it laugh. And at the same time, him saying that, saying like it was a simple happy story, makes everyone laugh, all of that, it's like he has this desire for that to have been like what it really was, right? Like this desire to like write it all off in that way, which it makes sense because the thing about Aragi's whole experience here is that I think it's very common, right? How many people don't experience like stress and worry when they were graduating high school, or if you aren't even out of high school yet, right? Just the worry about what the hell you're gonna do with the rest of your life, right? I think that's like an incredibly relatable, common thing that I think anyone can understand. So yeah, it's absolutely it is in a way it's just a simple story that so many people go through. It's just been told to us in such a fantastical way because of the oddities and layers of symbolism upon symbolism and all of this stuff. Yeah, no, it's great. I just love how you can really boil down Aragi's whole arc to just something so simple, and yet it's just been like this. It just feels like this epic tale of like this. Yeah, yeah. It's like this hero's journey. You probably should? No, you know. I don't know anything though. Right. And he would know what Ougi would say. And then she's like in his head, right? We cut to her gone and then him gone as well. Like, sure, right, right. So that's also another thing. If we're thinking about like graduating high school for him, meaning that he's like gone, right? He's wearing his high school outfit too, right? Like his high school uniform and everything. And then he's gone, right? He disappears from the chair. There's no more Araragi Kiyomi, right? The end of him, as he said way back. That's right, I knew. I'm sure I knew exactly what she was from the very beginning. And we get the goddamn traffic lights, huh? What do the traffic lights mean again? It's like it's been like, man, um it's just a bunch of nonsense. Like, no, no, the traffic lights, they come up all the time, and I don't even know what I think about them anymore. Right? Like I just feel like everyone needs to have their own personal journey with the traffic lights. Like they use them all the time. It's like I'm sure I knew exactly what she was from the beginning. I'm sure he did, right? I mean, obviously, right? I agree with him. Which like that's also an interesting thing to say because it just feels like there's this whole thing about Ogi, about her also representing like this self-destructive side of Araragi, like the suicidality and everything too. Because of her literally trying to kill him. So him saying this, like I'm sure I knew exactly what she was. That's interesting because it does me think like, does that say something about his thoughts about, his whole ideology and everything he had back in Kizu? Like his how is it possible for him to have not realized that the way he was living his life back in Kizu and the way he viewed the world was making him like miserable and was making him like suicidal, right? I just wonder. It's like this recognition of that I think is it just feels meaningful to me. Okay, let's talk about the traffic lights. Like it changes from green to red, right? Way back in Kabuki, when Ogi was talking about the traffic lights, it was the idea of like the symbols being red, right? Which in my mind back then, it was the idea of Aragi doing things in his life that he himself would deem as dangerous, as breaking the rules, right? The traffic lights are a very simple representation of the rules, right? You go on green, you don't go on red, right? And Aragi was always very carefully living his life as if everything was like a traffic light, right? These are the things you do, these are things you don't do. And Ogi was talking about, the dangerousness of lights being red versus, how it's even more dangerous for all of your lights to be green. because it's like the idea of Aragi's mindset and his ideology, how he views the rules themselves changing with time, that being like this dangerous thing and all of that. Like sure, right? So what does it mean for the light to change from green to red in this moment, huh? All of this is in the context of Araragi giving us, he's like ruminating on all of these thoughts he has right as the day of graduation day is coming, right? It's like we're here, this is like the end of him in a sense. He could very easily view it in that way. And the light changes from green to red, which maybe you could say, in a sense, it's a representation of his like feelings about where he will go in life next, right? Once he's graduated, he's got to cross this street, right? He's going to walk out of these gates. He's graduated. He's done. He's got to walk across, right? Um, what will that mean for him, right? The last time he walks out of Noetsu High, I think he'll man, I just that feels very like powerful in a sense, right? What that will be for him. And there are these lights right out here, red and green, that like dictate like the path you have to take in a sense, right? Like literally whether or not you can go across the street. Um, with the way that Araragi views paths and everything, like him talking to Hajikuji about it, the idea of always making the right decision, or correcting mistakes rather, right? Which one of those will lead you to the correct path in life, I I guess in conclusion, traffic lights are evil and we need to destroy them. That's the only thing I can think of. That's the only surely that's the answer, right? I don't know. Like it's I just the traffic lights drive me crazy. I guess that's all I can say. Like it's like if there's something here, clearly, right? It changing from green to red. Like obviously, in a sense, you could say it's like from the moment of his graduation. Right now, the light turns red. He doesn't know what to do anymore. He no longer has the traffic light guiding him anymore. Once it turns red, once he's graduated, it's all of that, right? Maybe once Ougi is gone, in a sense, as well. If that's what this means. If Ougi can't be around anymore, in a sense, when she's graduated high school, um, then yeah, right, there were the all of his traffic lights from then on will in a sense be red, right? Because he won't have what he wants. He won't have this guiding force anymore that tells him what to do. So like sure, I guess. It's I don't know. Is that right? Maybe. I no, I gotta do like a full traffic light analysis. I gotta go through the whole show back again and find every time traffic lights are shown ever and figure out what the hell we're doing with them. It's like the AC in Higurashi. That's what it's like for me. And it's hilarious, of course. It is very funny, huh? Very, very funny. I really like the opening. I like how it's been 36 minutes. We have like not even started the episode. I really like the opening. It's very I just like the song a lot, I think. But it feels like there's a lot of symbolism to it. I'll read the lyrics next time, in the next episode. So I'm not really sure what to say about that, but just like visually and like symbolically and everything, the visuals of the opening feel like they're good. They're good. I like it for sure. All the mirror stuff, Ogi being this like dark figure in the mirror, even when you shine a light on it, it just makes me think of like Araragi, looking in the mirror, like self-reflection, I guess, in the way that he thinks of that. And like viewing himself and Ogi as like this dark, shadowy figure because of his inability to like self-reflect in that sense, I guess, or just like the struggles that he has in that way, the critical way he views himself and everything. It feels like there's a lot to that, right? The idea of looking in the mirror and just seeing a dark, shadowy figure looking back at you. I think you can think stuff like that, At the end here, it like lights up as Ogi's looking in it. I don't know. There's a lot to it, I'm sure. It's interesting that like the title cards and stuff are all this like command line esque like style. I don't know what to make of it at all, but like sure, sure. Does it mean something? I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. Anyway, we're at Namishiro Park slash what was the other one for it, right? God, I don't know. None of these even make any sense. Like they never called it uh nay no, none of this makes any sense. What are we doing with all of these? No one ever called it this if you say all of these together. Like what was the other Rohaku, right? That was it was Namishiro Rohaku, right? Because of like it's like something about the characters, just like not not being legible properly, right? Anyway, we're here. We're at the park, the place where the old shrine used to be, the lake, all of that. We're playing baseball with a sword, apparently. Is ridiculous giant amount of text that apparently means nothing. Thank you, Aragi, for telling us that you didn't want to see them anyway. That's very nice of you. What are they even doing? Like what? I like how he just tries to leave. Like he's just like I don't want any part of this. So yeah, we got to settle the score. So this night, so technically, is it like past midnight already? Like is Aragi just staying up all night to deal with Ogi, basically? It's like, is it graduation day already, essentially, or it's just got to be like we're just gonna be up all night. He's not gonna get any sleep. I guess makes sense. Makes sense. And earlier today, like so, Haji Kuji and all that stuff happened like yesterday, right? And then that same day, he went and took the test. Went on the date. Did he go on the date with Shinjuku on that same day? I don't know. This doesn't matter. Like whatever. So basically is this like right after like Aragi's conversation with Ogi? Like his date with Shinjuku just happened earlier on this day. He had the conversation with Ogi and then he went to the park. Okay, okay, makes sense. Basically, I just think it's meaningful if he like literally just talked to Ogi right before this. He gets a little taste of his own medicine. So when yeah, Shinobu has some fun with him. Deserved. Like he's in the what is from Dragon Ball Z, right? Like is this like Vegeta death pose or something? I don't remember what it is. It's some character. Right. I love that we get the gag back with Hajikuji. It's great. I love it. I love it. I crouched Kagami Mashita. That's a good one. That is a good one. Live Yatsugi reaction right there. I love these two, their friendship. It's great. It's great. This is something I didn't even think about that Aragi wants to check, right? I mean, in a very bizarre way. But the idea that what is Hajikuji even a ghost anymore? Which I didn't even think about, right? Because she got brought back from hell. But yeah, she is still a ghost. She's still an oddity. She was still a ghost of a ghost in hell, basically. And now she's just back to just being a ghost in a sense, right? She wasn't like literally brought back to life, right? Which like makes me wonder. It's like when Hajikuji died, if this Hajikuji is just a ghost of her, that is like an oddity that was formed out of all of that, is there like a real Hajikuji that's like the one that died? That like died this like dead that is down in hell? And then this Hajikuji is just like the oddity formation of all of that. I'm not gonna think about that. That's scary. I don't like that. Hmm. I made your labor piling stones for the past 6 months, all for nothing. Like what? Like what are we talking about? Like, come on. So yeah, we do have a plan. Gai Nizuko's got it all down. Kishot is indeed bullying, or Shinobu. I shouldn't dead name her. Shinobu is indeed bullying Ononoki, as she feared. Right. So, the Avengers have assembled. We got everyone's so cool. Oshino Shinobu, the complete form of the legendary vampire who flew in from overseas. Hajikuji is the most aura by far. Hajikuji Mayoi, a ghost that returned from hell. I mean, that's a pretty cool title, isn't it? Yatsugi Ononoki, a Shikigami corpse doll whose master ran away. Gai Nizuko, the leader of a group of specialists who defeat apparitions. Should have said something about her knowing everything. Come on. I love Aragi's position between Shinobu's lap, right? That's where he belongs. And me, Aragi Kiyomi, once human, previously a vampire, and currently human. Right. Stop it, Hajikuji, don't look at me like that. So, she's gonna give us the rundown. Aragi has the talisman, right? The talisman that makes you a god somehow. I feel like the talisman itself, is it basically like an oddity, kind of? It's just people recognize the talisman as the thing that makes you a god. So if you eat it, then you are a god, right? Because that's how like all of the supernatural stuff in the show works, right? It's just all based off like human belief and in recognition like that, right? So I guess. I love how she says it's been preserved well. You took such good care of it, and she just like jams it in her pocket, just like crumbles it up completely. Like, how nice of you. Thank you. Although I guess Aragi was keeping it in as a bookmark in like a magazine, so he wasn't doing the best either. But that's okay. And it was swallowed by someone for a while. But it's what, nothing to worry about. Anyway, the focus of our hatred is Oshino Ogi. I guess. I don't hate her. I don't think we should hate her. I think saying she's the focus of our hatred, especially for Aragi to recognize that, would be a bad thing, right? She should not be the focus of our hatred. We should not hate that part of ourselves, right? I don't think that's I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right at all. It just can't be. It just can't be. Don't forget the name Oshino Oki was merely used out of convenience, right? She's certainly not Oshinomeme's niece. I wonder why she took that name exactly. It makes sense because, like, I think probably a part of Ogi's existence as well, like from Aragi's point of view, like the thoughts and feelings she was created from, is what Aragi feels after Oshino like went away, right? Like him feeling like abandoned by him in a sense, like the first episode in Nisei, he kinda has like a heart to heart with Hajikuji about that, like his feelings about how he feels ever since Oshino went away and everything. Probably has something to do with like everything that goes into Ogi. Ogi is just this giant ball of like thoughts and feelings. I don't know. It's like Oshino Ogi's true nature is unknown. So Guy Izuko saying that, does she really not know who she is, or is she just like saying that, like, is she just like she doesn't want to there's a time and a place where you need to confront Aragi with the information of who she really is, even though he already knows. He's just trying to ignore it, right? That's what he's always done. And she's just doesn't want to say it because she's supposed to know everything, even though it's clear, the idea of her knowing everything is kind of there's more to it than that, right? Yeah, yeah. The loss of her true identity is the only identity she has. This line feels meaningful because the loss of identity and everything, I think, is something that's very core to Aragi's whole like struggle here, is him recognizing how much he's changed, uh, just since Kizu, and even once he graduates high school, once he loses that idea of himself being a high school student, and he's on that path in life, and he knows where his next step should be. Once he no longer has that as well, I think this is how he believes he will feel. This is how he feels already, in a sense, is having lost like who he really is. So Ogi embodying that too makes complete sense, right? Okay, we go over it step by step. She's only going to explain it once. Right, right. One thing I want to confirm. Are you sure Ogi-chan will make her move sometime tonight? She has to, right? Not only am I sure of it, it's the reality of it. She only has tonight. If she doesn't act tonight, that would imply it's not really her. This line makes it clear. Guy Nizuko must know what Ogi is, obviously, right? She's just calling her an unknown out of, like, I don't know. It's like, yeah. Because her acting tonight is a very personally important thing for what she is, like, for Aragi, right? Although I asked the question, I was already convinced as well. Yeah, because she said so herself. So Aragi thinking of her as the darkness, right? I think it's an important thing because it's like he was thinking that Ogi wanting to destroy him was was an effect of the darkness in a sense, right? He thinks of himself as having been changed so fundamentally that he deserves that kind of destruction and everything. At least some part of him does, that Ogi part of him. Uh and that's why he was so convinced, partially, that she must be the darkness, right? It's because, like, oh, I mean, I do deserve to be destroyed by the rules of the universe, obviously. So, yeah, of course she would be the darkness, right? And again, it's like, it just feels like it's so powerful, that recognition that no, that actually comes from within yourself, right? That recognition that it is his own thoughts and feelings that led him to this place, just like they did in Kizu, right? I just feel like that just feels so powerful to me, right? That there isn't this external embodiment of the rules that wants you dead. Like, no, it's from within yourself. So she gives us the whole rundown. We finally get it all like laid out, right? Which, like, most of this, I feel like we've pieced it together, but it's nice to have it all lined out, right? So the original shrine, the one Ogi talked about in Kiyomi Mountain, right? Yes, it was at the lake. Kishot landed at the lake. destroyed it. Everyone thought she was the god. They turned her into the new god. They started worshiping her as such. The one thing that's weird to me about that whole story that I feel like we don't really have an answer for still is the weird thing that the darkness did, right? Which was it was like everyone that had heard of her. Was it everyone that worshipped her, or was it just everyone that knew of her existence even? Got destroyed by the darkness, right? When her and the first minion were running around looking at all the villages and stuff, everyone got like destroyed by it, right? Uh, that's like weird because with like Hachikuji, nothing like that happened. You know, Hachikuji was just the target of it, and that's it. So I don't know. I don't know. That's it's interesting to me, like how the darkness works exactly, right? Anyway, so that the shrine got destroyed. They need to, yeah, they got to get a new shrine. So they merge with this other religion that is nearby, and move the shrine up to the mountain. Right, right. That's what Ogi's story was about. God, now it just got me thinking about all the Ogi stuff as well, like that whole idea of like having rebuilt the shrine. Is it still the same shrine? The way that that relates to like Aragi and the change within him, right? Is he still Aragi despite everything? Um, God, I don't know. I don't know. I wonder if like this idea of like having merged, needing to create a new god, and all of that. Like, does that say something about Aragi's position? Because it's like this is the creation of the shrine, right? Which I've been saying for Aragi represents like a lot of stuff, like internally about his psyche and stuff. So surely it means something. I'm just not sure exactly. Yeah, they merged with the local religion. They worshipped a mountain snake. Well, the ones by the lake worshipped yeah, worshipped the water snake, right? A cord that connected the mountain and the lake. Kuchinawa, a snake. A snake indeed. And we get this shot of the two like snake rivers, right? Oh, which like we've had this shot so many times, but that gives on more context to it, right? There's been so many things like this. So many times they've used this shot that I feel like it feels very meaningful. I remember in like there's like one shot in like Atagi End where like one of the because of like all the snow everywhere is like very difficult to see one of them. You could only see one of the snakes like clearly. And I feel like that in that moment like was clearly meaningful. I don't know. I really like this shot that they've used like so many times. I just think it always means something new to me. So yeah, the merger was too forced. Sense of something was off. The conflict of that created the air spot. The same way in my mind, the conflict of the old Araragi in a sense, and who Araragi is now, has created this air spot, the void that Kaiki was talking about. Yeah, yeah. And that's Shirahebi Park, where the lake was, and with Shirahebi Shrine is where they rebuilt it. Right. Right, right, right. And then it collapsed 15 years ago. The ashes of Shinobu-san's first minion returned to his homeland. Yeah, 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 yeah. And that's when everything like started for us, right? Right, right. Got to put a new god there, which the idea for it was to be Shinobu, which we've talked before about how I'm just not sure what to make of that. From my perspective of the shrine, like being representative of all of this for Aragi, I'm not sure what to make of the idea of like Shinobu being on the shrine, Aragi not wanting her to be the god. I don't know. I wonder if it's because like something that jumps out to me is how his relationship with Shinobu, like more so than anyone, has all of these like hang-ups and stuff in Aragi's head because of his decision he made in Kizu and that being like his biggest regret ever. It's very different from like Hachikuji, right? So her being on the shrine, it makes sense to me. You can even think like, Aragi not wanting to like put Shinobu through that after everything is already done to her or whatever. That's how he could be thinking of it. So like thematically it makes sense to me why Shinobu wouldn't be on the shrine, because she doesn't represent like the same things Hachikuji does, but I guess. Maybe that's all there is to it, huh? If you'd explained everything using that reasoning from the start, is what I was going to say. But even if she had taken the time to explain it, I doubt I would have ever thought about using the talisman on Shinobu. Yeah, yeah, no way, right? Hmm. So we're gonna clarify where we stand, what we want. All Aragi wants is just everyone he cares about to be like fine, right? I was thinking as Hachikuji was playing in the park like this, how yeah, this was her old place, right? Been a long time. She's got to come back here. She used to hang out in the park all the time, and she's been in hell for so long. Like she gets to be back. So yeah, yeah, and right. You can't really blame Aragi on that. Like, come on. Nadeko planned it all out so well. Like, kinda. I mean, all she did was steal a key and then come in. But in other words, since she couldn't trust me, she wanted to know what I was after, what was inside my heart. That's a hard thing for even him to recognize, right? Yeah, do something about Hajikuji and Shinobu. Just that's all he cares about is the people around him, right? Does not mention himself, that's for sure. I think right now he's kind of at a low point for that, considering the whole Ougi situation and everything. Yeah. And Oshino, Kagenui, all that stuff, right? All of these things that kind of be traced back to Ougi as well, things that Aragi kind of blame himself for in a sense, you know. Hmm. At most, I can think about the safety of the people around me. Only what's in front of his eyes, right? Yeah. Yeah. Worried about the people close to you, but not yourself. Since your own safety isn't a concern, we can reach an agreement. That's kind of scary. That's kind of scary, guy, and I don't know. That's oh god. And Shinobu, of course, Shinobu just wants to, she wants to recreate the bond between them, which I can't wait for that. I would love that because it's like they could finally reform the bond between them in a way that doesn't have the same baggage and all of that stuff from Kizu. It really feels like they're like reforging it in this way. It feels like it would kind of feel like Aragi's like his revival in Kizu and the way that felt like the beginning of like the new you know yeah, that's what it would feel like in a sense. So our stances are all clear. We Guyanese Coast's given us the rundown. First objective, first requirement, we need a new deity, which of course will be Hachikuji. And it like makes complete sense to me. I love how so for one, she tells us all this stuff about the like snail slug like snake thing, right? Which makes sense to me. Like sure. I didn't think about any of that, but right. And also it just makes sense, right? We've talked about it. Like yeah, her being the god makes complete sense. And she's Jesus. At the point when she returned from hell, that lost girl undoubtedly performed a miracle. Exactly. Hajikuji is Jesus Christ. She resurrected just when we needed her. Perfect. Hmm. Yeah, she either goes back to hell, gets swallowed by the darkness, or she becomes a god. It's the god sounds good to me, and Hajikuji wants it, so like perfect. She gains citizenship. She gains proof of residence. So the story goes. Yeah. Hmm. You're trying to snail apparition like Hachikuji when it causes a distortion? Well, no, because snails beat snakes, I guess, right? Or slugs do, and snails are related to slugs. I guess, right? I'm sure there's some more deeper meaning to all of this that I just don't like understand, other than like the whole Sanskumi thing. But I don't know. Translated three-way standoff, yeah. Which like I know about this stuff and like folklore, right? The frog, snake, slug, yeah. And yeah, Kaiki used it on Nautico. Right. Man, the art style from back then already feels like so different in a sense, doesn't it? Like this just feels like a blast from the past somehow. Man, I wonder how long when was this like released compared to like back then? I just have no idea what the release schedule of Monogatari looks like at all. Hmm. So, of course, he's got to talk to Hajikuji about it. She's Namekuji, my boy. Not only that, but if we get the stupid ass pun with Kami Mashita, like, have we been working towards this the whole time? Has this been the point of the entire story? Is that Hajikuji can say Kami Mashita, like Kami Mashita? Has that's like that's been it? Like when the author started writing this, he thought of this first, and he's been working it towards this scene the whole time. That's fun. Like, God, it is a very tremendous promotion indeed. She doesn't understand the duties at all, but who needs to worry about the duties, huh? Yeah, right. That's all you need. I feel like that too feels meaningful. Like her saying, like, no, I don't care about any of that. I just want to be alive and be here. Because like Aragi thinks of things in that sense, like the whole idea of what it means to be an adult, what it means to be the god, and all of that stuff. Hachikuji represents the antithesis of that, right? Yeah, yeah. So we'll do that. That's condition one. Condition two is Oshino Ogi. I like this moment when Araragi tells them, like, oh yeah, she's not the darkness, but no one thought that but him. So, like, right, right. God. Apparently it's been Ononoki that put all that foreshadowing around, huh? If so, I really wish she hadn't done that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Please don't deliberately add foreshadowing. Right, right. She had a troublesome character trait, or rather, she was a troublesome character. Come on, she's not troublesome. It makes complete sense that he did think that, though. Yeah, yeah. What I want to ask is, at what point did you get that idea? It just kind of happened, right? He just kind of felt through observing her actions and everything. Yeah, yeah. But of course, her targeting, she's much more dangerous than the darkness in a sense, right? Not because she's like more powerful. The darkness is kind of scarier in that sense because there's no way to stop it, but I guess like the unpredictability essentially, right? How we can get the darkness off of Hachikuji's back by turning her into a god, but not Ogi. Ogi would target her anyway, right? Yeah. In the beginning, she probably thought that way too, huh? It's certain that even now she imposes tasks of that sort on herself, imposes them on herself. I think that's a good way to put it. It's like this restricting thing, these things that she has to do. They're imposed on her by herself, right? Yeah, yeah. She's Aragi's darkness, right? If we leave Hajikuji-chan in her current state, the darkness we're worried might reappear in this town will be the real thing. When we turn her into a god, then yeah, Ogi won't be stopped, but Ogi would pursue her either way. So, I mean, yeah, yeah. And that's why, apparently, we have to exterminate her. But surely there's another answer. Surely there's something else we can do, right? I love this line. If we don't exterminate Oshino Ogi, the story doesn't come to a close. The story, Monogatari, like, yeah, right, right. But I just don't believe that. There has to be another way. There has to be another way to do it. And I swear that there will be for Araragi and Ogi. I just don't know how. I just don't know how we're gonna do that, right? Like, she's an ordinary monster. But what's so wrong about being a monster, right? Like that's kind of what it comes back to, is I don't think there are monsters. I don't want to say that any part of Araragi has ever been a monster, right? Not now, not before, not ever. So I reject that. And we are somehow gonna reach a conclusion where that doesn't have to happen. Okay. Okay. That was long. Man, I did not think this was gonna be that long of a discussion because why this is just like a setup episode. It feels for the next episodes. So this is my bad, I guess. Okay. I guess that's it. I guess we should just end it. That's it. That's it. So if you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think, and I will see you in the next one.